Alright, what's going on everybody? Welcome back to another video here on the channel, and I'm finally doing a storytime video, which I haven't done one since I think March of last year, so it's pushing a full year now since I've done one of these, and I know, like, it seems like every time I do one of these videos, in the beginning I'm like, oh, I need to do more of these types of videos, you guys really seem to enjoy them, so I'm gonna be bringing them back, and then, like, it's always 8 to 12 months before I upload another one. I don't know if that's ever gonna change. I really hope I can change that this year, because I love making these videos, but for some reason I just feel like people don't like watching them, you know? Like, it just seems like the stories, I guess because I probably have personally lived through them, like, they don't seem as interesting as they probably could anymore. But, like, when I tell people about the SpongeBob bandit in Walmart, or the time I was nearly robbed on Christmas Eve outside of a McDonald's, those stories are a lot more interesting to you guys than they are to me, so I don't know. If this video gets, I gotta set you guys like a crazy goal. If this video gets 15,000 likes, I'll do another story time by the end of the month. I'm pretty sure you guys will not be able to attain that, but I mean, if you guys do it, I'll keep true to my word. So anyways, today I'm going to be telling you guys the story about my best high school side hustle, if that makes any sense. I guess that's probably going to be the title of this video too. I was thinking of story ideas and I was like, man, I should tell them about that really good high school hustle that I had going on back in the day, right? So if you didn't know, Optimus here, I'm graduated, I'm no longer in school, but back when I was in school, I had a pretty crazy side hustle going on that was just absolutely, it was beyond words. I mean, it was a crazy grind, but it was actually something that was pretty worth it for me. So this all really took place my senior year. Now my senior year, I missed like half of it because I was just skipping school all the time, and my school didn't really seem to care. Like, they never really, like, they didn't send anyone to my family house or anything like that. But my senior year, I didn't really go to school all that often. I kind of just skipped and stayed home a lot. But this is right around when I started blowing up on YouTube finally, you know, back in, like, I don't know, 2016 through 2018, like around that area. And so I had this little side hustle that I was kind of going with during school, right? Because, I don't know, for some reason my senior year, I was just about trying to make money, you know? Like, I didn't really care about school all that much. I was just focused on staying home and playing video games and making money when I could, right? Like, I didn't really care about the whole school thing at this point. I was about to graduate. And keep in mind, like, I was still getting good enough grades that I could, like, you know, pass, and I wasn't gonna fail or have to drop out or anything. Like, I was still getting enough done to, like, stay there and not have to drop out. But I basically came with this side hustle my senior year that was pretty much unstoppable. Like, I was making a couple $100 a month at one point from different people from doing this. And, you know, when you're in high school and everything, a couple $100 a month, like, that's pretty good, you know what I mean? Like, of course, that's not enough to pay your bills with or anything crazy, but when you're just trying to, I don't know, like, buy video games or, like, I don't know, go hang out with your friends every once in a while and just have a little spending money, right? Like, that was cool. That was perfectly fine with me. So basically I was doing people's schoolwork, but, like, it was the easiest side hustle of all time. Like, you think when I say, like, I was doing people's homework that I was, like, leaned over a book, like, handwriting documents for them and stuff. No, I was nothing like that at all. In fact, it might have been the easiest couple $100 I've ever made outside of, like, well, I guess, I don't know. I like doing YouTube, but it's pretty easy to me at this point. It's like second nature. So, but this was, like, way better than working in some pizza place or something like that, like I'd been used to before. So I had a friend, we'll call him Rick, right? And Rick didn't really like school. And it makes sense, right? Because school kind of sucks. No one really likes going to school for the most part. I mean, some people do, but, like, obviously the average kid isn't just thrilled to go to school. So Rick, though, was also a senior. So he was in a different situation, though. Obviously, I didn't like school. I just didn't show up, but I still turned in the work and whatnot when I'd come back and I got good enough grades. Well, Rick didn't want to do the work at all because it fucking sucked. It was stupid, and, like, no one wanted to do that, right? So the problem with that, though, is that if Rick didn't do enough of his work, he wasn't going to graduate. I'm not 100% like what the whole situation was with his grades and whatnot, but he basically had to get some classes done still in order to get the credits, because, like, here in Ohio at least, you have to have a certain amount of credits from, like, different things, like 3 math credits or, like, 3 English credits and things like that, right? You gotta take classes to get those credits so that you can graduate. I'm pretty sure it's probably the same everywhere, but I just, you know, that's to clarify what's going on. And he had, like, a couple credits left that he needed to graduate, but didn't want to do those classes. And obviously, if you don't do them, you fail, and then you have to restart your senior year and everything. So basically, Rick came to me with this proposition. Hey, you do these online classes for me. I'll pay you a couple $100. You know, it's a win-win. It's only like, I guess, a couple weeks left of this course anyway, right? You only got to do a quarter of it or something. So that's like 9 weeks of work, right? Which in these online classes at the time really wasn't that much work. It was literally like 15 assignments, and they were all meant to be long, but considering the fact that they were online assignments, it really made them not long at all. So if he had to do this class like on paper homework, I would have been spending fucking weeks trying to grind this work out and everything. It just wouldn't have been worth it to me, you know, to make like $250. But since it was online, it was so much easier because I realized I could just cheat the homework. So we had this thing called like a media lab, which is basically like a library / computer lab combined together, and it had classrooms all around it and everything for actual classes. But it's like one of the main hubs of the school here, and like you could go there and they had this big computer lab and you could like do online courses. Well, my senior year, my first period, I had what was called like, you know, lunch study or like intervention or guided study, whatever you want to call it, right? Essentially, we would like go to the cafeteria and there'd be like 50 or 60 of us in this room, and there'd just be one teacher watching us for a whole period. And like you were supposed to use that period to do homework and other shit like that and like pay attention. But like most of the time I was literally just sitting there listening to music and like playing games on my phone and just chilling out because like I didn't have anything to do. Like I would get the work I needed to get done for myself done in like 15-20 minutes and then just be ready to fuck off the rest of the period, right? So I ended up going to the media lab to go there and like use the computers so that I could do this work online. And what I would do is like it'd pop up questions, like they were all multiple choice questions, and like each assignment would have like 20 of these questions. And one of the classes was like some sort of English class, so you had to read some book or like some script or something to understand the assignment, like know what questions to ask and answer and stuff. So literally what I would do is because this was before they added like monitoring software to the computer so like teachers can see what you're doing. So at that time what I did is I would just pull up like a second window on Google and I just copy the question and paste it into Google, and since it was an online assignment, it was pretty much copied from something. And there would be a website that has an entire answer sheet to the entire assignment. So what I would do is I would just pull this up and I would go back and forward for each question and just answer it, and just easily 100% all of these assignments, and it would take like 15 minutes. So given the class was like 15 assignments, I could do like 3 of these a day in first period when I would be listening to music anyway. So I would just listen to music there and just grind out this work, and I was just making hundreds of dollars to do it. Well, eventually word kind of spread, I guess, about how good I was at getting this shit done. And another detail I forgot to mention, actually, my second period, I stayed in the media lab, but I went to a different classroom so that I could use the computers in that classroom for an online course that I had. So I had like a personal class that I had to take, but since I knew how to basically just cheat online assignments, I just did that for the work. And then like this other course that I had for myself was so easy, right? Like I can't even remember what the course was about, but it was some sort of like finance class, right? And I've always been pretty decent with money and whatnot, so I didn't even have to cheat. Like it was so simple. It'd be like, what does net profit mean and stuff like that, and I'm just like, oh, that's easy. So I would just grind out this. I actually grinded this class, right? It was free. Like you had a quarter, but you could pace yourself, and it had like all of the quarters worth of work. I got the whole class for myself done in like 2.5 weeks of just grinding it. And then I started doing other people's coursework for money in that class as well. So literally for the first hour and a half of the day, I was just basically at work, and I was just doing other people's assignments, and I literally never got caught once. Like you would think a teacher walks by or something and sees you cheating. Literally never happened. I was so fucking good at this. I was like a legit spy or something, dude. Like anytime I could feel a teacher's presence behind me almost. So if I felt like I was at risk of getting caught, like I deadass would just switch over real quick and pretend it was like my work or something, and like I would just never get caught doing this. At one point I was doing like 3 or 4 people's work, and I was getting paid hundreds of dollars by each of them because these were kids who like would not graduate if it wasn't for these classes that I was doing. And you gotta think too, like if these kids don't graduate, like that could really fuck up their life all over this class in high school. And yeah, you know, you could say that they should show the intuition to want to do it and stuff like that, but the fact of the matter is they weren't. So if I could make some easy money for doing this and they also get to graduate, I was not feeling sorry or bad about that in any way, shape, or form. form. I'm pretty sure like 3 or 4 kids in my class quite literally graduated because they paid me to do these classes. And the only reason I was doing them is because it was easy money. You know, like I could just copy and paste the fucking question and have the answers for the whole thing in like 10 minutes. Yeah, why would I not do that, you know, for $250 or something? I think in total, within like 3 months, I made like $900 during the first 2 periods of class just doing people's work. And like I was becoming like some sort of legit businessman at school. Like people knew that if you needed to get this shit done and you weren't trying to do it and it was online, all you had to do was ask me and pay me decent and it was gonna be done. And I was killing that shit, man. Like on top of the fact I was like doing YouTube and everything, and I had my channel monetized at that point. And then that too, like I was low-key making some bank. Like YouTube, I was still probably making more off of it, to be honest. Probably not by that much though, if we're being real, but I was still probably making more. But this was like a crazy good side hustle for me. And I'm not saying like this is what you should do, because like especially now, you can't really get away with shit like this. The way I understand it, like a lot of these schools now, they've got monitoring software on the computers and things like that, so they can see your screen. And it's just a really good way to get yourself in a lot of fucking trouble. Like in reality, I probably risked a lot of trouble with the school and stuff by doing that kind of thing, right? Because I was literally, if you think about it, these people were cheating on their work and paying me to do it, right? So I'm not really sure what kind of trouble I could have got into, but it could have been pretty serious, I feel like. I mean, at the time, I wasn't even really sure if I wanted to go to college, so I don't know if it would have fucked up like my chances at college or something if I had like the academic dishonesty shit in high school, but you really can't get away with shit like that. Plus, I went to a poor school. Like, my school just, they didn't have extra money at all. So like, they couldn't afford the new technology and shit. Like we were using computers from like literally 2002, right? I mean, they had fucking Microsoft Office 2001 or something on them, right? It was a poor ass school. We couldn't even afford new textbooks. Like we couldn't afford new technology and shit like that. We didn't even have air conditioning in our school. I mean, it was fucking rough. And so like they didn't have all this monitoring technology and shit and whatnot to make sure you can't really cheat on online assignments. So if I went to like a nicer school that had that type of shit, like I probably would have been caught very easily. Cause you gotta think, I was doing this shit for months. For like the whole second half probably of my senior year, I was doing this shit. And I was doing it in very like public and noticeable spots too. So if I went to a like better school or something, man, that shit just would not have flown. I got kind of lucky that I went to the school that I did in order to pull off some shit like that. But I know a lot of people like to do these side hustle things in school, right? Like I know there's people who sell like chips and candy and shit like that between passing time in order to make a couple bucks. That's probably a much better method of side hustling than what I did, because like I said, I could have probably got fucked pretty good, like gotten a lot of trouble type shit. And that just wouldn't have been good for anybody, right? My parents would have probably been so fucking mad. Like I didn't even think about that, but like if my parents found out that I had been doing that shit when I was doing it, like I probably would have been in trouble at home too. I don't know, maybe my family would have been like, nice side hustle. I don't know. But anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for watching. If you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like, subscribe if you're brand new around here on the channel, follow me over on Twitter and Twitch at @subtooptimus. Make sure to check out Shop Opti down below. And until my next video, guys, this is Optimus, well, telling you guys about my high school side hustle and signing out.